was playing out like every other day. I walked home from school with my twin sister Maddie and our neighbor Ethan. Maddie and I have lived here our entire lives, and Ethan moved in when we were like 5. It's always been the 3 of us.
What'd you get on the test?
Definitely bombed that thing.
Of course you did. Are you going to dinner or are you going to stay in your room?
As soon as I got home, I went straight to my room.
Nope.
Maddie was always nagging me, saying I needed to spend more time with the family. She just doesn't get it. She acts like she's an adult already, and I, on the other hand, act like a normal teenager. So anyways, I was in my room when my dad came in and told me we were having a family meeting. We never really had family meetings unless something was really wrong, so I started thinking of all the things I could have done to get in trouble because Lord knows Maddie didn't do anything wrong. But even though I couldn't think of anything, I still had a pit in my stomach.
Thanks for taking a minute to talk here tonight, guys. I want you both to know that we love you very much.
A lot of my friends had divorced parents, but I never thought that I would have divorced parents. Things seemed fine for the most part. Like, we went to church most of the time. I hadn't really seen them fight that much. I thought we were a pretty happy family. Maddie and I responded very differently. She cried a lot. And I felt like crying, but couldn't. Over the next several months, a lot changed. My mom moved out. I stopped going to church. I spent all my spare time in my room. I stopped caring about school, but my relationship suffered more than anything. And I still had that feeling, the one I had the night we found out about the divorce. Like, I wanted to cry. I needed to cry, but I couldn't. It was like I felt everything and nothing all at the same time. And while I tried my best to keep those feelings to myself, I knew everyone around me could feel it, that tension. Like, I had so much I wanted to do and so much I wanted to say, but I just couldn't. I don't know what exactly came over me, but I was so mad. I was mad at myself, mad at my parents, mad that this is how my life was turning out. I knew when my dad got mad, he would go for a drive, so I didn't even think about it. I grabbed his keys, I got in his truck, and I left.
Where did this all go wrong? It's my fault.
Sitting in that car did not clear my head.
What is wrong with me? Only one person could listen to me for a second.
It made everything much, much louder.
No one listens, no one understands, no one gets this.
My thoughts that were whispers at one point turned into screams, and they were all telling me to crash, to end my life.
How is this my life?
Not a single person is gonna miss me.
The officer asked for my license and registration. He said, "You could have killed someone." If only he knew how ironic that was. He called my dad to pick me up, and I just sat there dreading the conversations I knew we were going to have on the ride home. My dad was mad. His first question was, "What were you thinking?" Then he went on and on all about the things that could have gone wrong, like I didn't already know. But I let him go on. After he ran out of words, we sat in silence as he waited for me to say something. It came out in a whisper when I first told him that I was going to crash. The mood in the car changed instantly. I told him I didn't like who I'd become, how life had turned out. I told him that if this is how hard life was at 14, I didn't want to see 15 or 16 or 17. It got quiet again before he apologized. He apologized for his harsh words, but then he also apologized on behalf of life. That's just always so unfair. As we pulled into the driveway, he asked in a really humble way how he could help me, and I honestly didn't know how to respond. I didn't plan on having that conversation or opening up about any of that. So I asked him if I could sleep on it, and he understood. My dad's question kind of haunted me. I didn't know how he could help me. I didn't really even feel like I could be helped. I didn't really see a future where I was happy again. And Maddie walked in. Moments like that one are kind of hard to put into words. Moments when vulnerability is inevitable because the things you'd been hiding are just out in the open, you know? I thought Maddie would be mad at me, but she wasn't. Twins kind of have this thing where it feels like you can communicate without words, and Maddie sitting there next to me was the best thing she could have said. Or so I thought, until she actually spoke. Her voice was a little shaky still, but she got out the words, "I prayed for you." She said that she'd been praying for me for a while now. After the divorce, she kept going to church. We both used to go because our parents made us, but she said after everything went down and she felt like she had absolutely nothing left, she found God. And I wasn't even sure if I still believed in God. If he was real, why couldn't he have helped my parents stay together? It didn't make any sense to me. But something about the way she talked about him, the hope she had, the way she was still able to love people and be kind to people after all we'd been through. I don't know what it was about that moment, but I was finally able to cry. That night, Maddie didn't just pray for me, she prayed with me. And even though things didn't immediately become perfect after that, something changed.
Max, let's go.
After a few months, I started going to church with Maddie again, and she was right.
We don't have time
It was
for
different this time. My parents were still divorced, school was still hard, Maddie and I still fought sometimes, but something was different. I can't really give you a step-by-step thing about what I did. I just kept showing up, kept bringing things to God, and I'm still doing that.